Upbeat, whimsical music begins. Hello, story lovers, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever had a dream so big, so wild, that everyone else thought it was a little, well, silly? Today, we're diving into the tale of a bunny who had just such a dream that reached all the way to the moon. Our story begins in a cozy little burrow, home to a bunny named Pip. Now, Pip wasn't like the other bunnies. While they were busy nibbling clover and digging holes, Pip's eyes were always on the night sky. He wasn't just looking at the stars, he was dreaming of visiting them, and his biggest dream of all, to bounce on the big glowing orb that hung in the sky each night, the moon. The other bunnies would often chuckle. "The moon, Pip, it's made of cheese, you know. You can't bounce on cheese." But Pip just smiled. He had a plan, a crunchy orange and very ambitious plan. He was going to build a rocket. And what would power this magnificent machine? The most powerful fuel he knew, pure, concentrated carrot juice. So Pip got to work. He spent weeks gathering the shiniest, juiciest carrots from every corner of the meadow. He tinkered with old pots and pans, salvaged bits of wood, and collected every stray nut and bolt he could find. His workshop, a hollowed-out log, was a whirlwind of activity. There were blueprints sketched on large leaves, diagrams of juice flow regulators, and a very complicated-looking lever system designed to ignite the carrot fuel. The other animals would peek in, shaking their heads. "A carrot rocket, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard," squeaked a field mouse. "You'll never get that thing off the ground," grumbled a badger. But Pip didn't listen. He just kept working, his little nose twitching with concentration. He believed in his dream, and he believed in the power of carrots. Finally, the day came. The carrot rocket, gleaming under the morning sun, stood tall in the middle of the meadow. It was a magnificent, if slightly lopsided, creation. It was pointy, it was orangish from a few carrot stain mishaps, and it had a little window just big enough for a bunny's face. Pip, wearing a tiny helmet made from an acorn shell, climbed inside. He took a deep breath, his heart thumping with a mix of fear and excitement. He pulled the final lever. There was a low rumble, then a gurgle, then a mighty fizz. A huge cloud of sweet-smelling orange steam billowed from the bottom of the rocket. With a tremendous whoosh, the carrot rocket lifted off the ground. It wobbled a bit, spun in a circle, and then shot straight up into the big blue sky, leaving a trail of orange mist behind. The animals below watched, their jaws dropped in amazement. Pip's silly dream was actually coming true. Higher and higher he soared, past the fluffy white clouds, until the world below looked like a tiny green and blue patch. Soon he was floating amongst the glittering stars, and there it was, right in front of him, bigger and more beautiful than he had ever imagined. The moon. With a soft thump, the carrot rocket landed gently on the dusty grey surface. Pip hopped out, his little bunny feet making the very first prints on the moon. He looked around in awe. It wasn't made of cheese, but it was incredible. He took a giant slow-motion bounce, soaring through the low gravity. He bounced and giggled, a tiny, joyful figure in the vast, silent expanse of space. After exploring and collecting a few shiny moon rocks, Pip climbed back into his rocket and journeyed home, his heart full. When he landed back in the meadow, he was no longer just Pip, the silly dreamer. He was Pip the Moon Bunny, the astronaut extraordinaire. And so, Pip's story reminds us that no dream is too big or too silly. If you believe in yourself and are willing to work hard, even if your fuel is carrot juice, you can reach for the stars, and maybe, just maybe, you'll end up bouncing on the moon. So go on, chase those wild ideas. Thanks for joining us on this amazing adventure. If you loved Pip's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a new tale. See you next time.